What we're going to do is simplify uh, uh, radicals. What that means is we're going to rewrite, for example, number 40 in terms of pairs of factors that multiply together that give 40, but also one of them must be a perfect square number. Now, I'm going to do this by hand first, and then I'm going to show you how to use a calculator to help you out. And if you happen to see a number in front of the radical, and we will eventually have a number in front of the radical, that's going to mean that's multiplication. So the square root of 40, here's what we're going to do. There's all kinds of ways to do this, but one way to do is take the number 40 and think about what times what is 40. Well, 1 times 40 is 2 times 20, 3 won't divide, 4 times 10, 5 times 8, 6 won't go, 7 won't go, 8 will go, but we've already got the 8 in our list. So here's our 4 pairs of factors that give us 80. We multiply them together. So when you look at this pair is the only one that has a number that's a perfect square. The number 4 is. So the square root of 40 is the same as the square root of 4 times 10, which is the same as the square root of 4 times the square root of 10, which is the same as the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 10 remains underneath as it is, square root of 10. So the square root of 40 simplifies as 2 square root of 10. Now watch this on a calculator. You can actually type in this case, 40 divided by x. Remember, x is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So when we look at the table, you'll actually see the pairs of numbers that multiply together to give us 40. And we're only going to look at the nice positive numbers. So we have 1 and 40, 2 and 20. 3's got a decimal with it, so we don't want that one. 4 and 10, 5 and 8. 6 times the decimal, don't want that. 7 times the decimal. 8 times 5, which you already have it up here, is 5 times 8. So, the table will actually give you the exact same listing that I have. It's just a little bit quicker. And something else you can do, you can go ahead and type in x squared, because a lot of people don't know what the squares are, the squared numbers, perfect squares. Well, over here is what they are, because you look at my y2, it's just every number squared. 0 squared, 1 squared, 2 squared, 4, 9, 16. I don't want to look at the graph. I want to look at these. So I'm looking for these numbers in my pairing. And so that's why I'm using 4 times 10, because 4 is the square of 2. So let's use our calculator to help us with the square root of 18. So all I need to do is change that 40 to an 18. Now watch this. I have 1 and 18. Don't want to use that because neither one of those are perfect squares. Well, 1 is, but we don't want to use 1s. We want to use the biggest perfect square factor. 2 and 9, 3 and 6. That's our only 3 pairs, and we're going to use 2 and 9 because 9 is in this list over here. Now I have to write it as square root of 9 times the square root of 2. Or square root of 9 times 2, if you want to put that step in. Or just leave it all out together, and I'll show you how you do that in just a second. And the square root of 9, if you look at 9 over here, is the square of 3. Because this is the x squared key. 3 squared is 9. And then the square root of 2 stays as it is. And that's your answer. Let's do one more. Square root of 80. Look at the table. I have 1 and 80, 2 and 40, 4 and 20. 4 is a perfect square number. But look, 5 and 16. 16 is also. And I think that's all we have. But we'll keep on looking. 8 and 10. But neither one of those are perfect squares. They're not in this list over here. So, we have 2 pairs, 4 and 20 and 16 and 5. We want to use the biggest one, so we'll use 16 times 5. Now watch this. Not using anything but the calculator. We have 5 times 16. 16 is a perfect squared number that we want to use. And over here it is. And what number squared is 16? 4 is. So that means the 16 comes out as a 4. And then this 5 remains underneath. Now if you don't believe me, if you want to check your answer, here's all you got to do. Take the square root of 80 and you get that decimal. Now I'm going to take 4 square root of 5 and see if the decimals match up. And they do. So I know I'm correct. And 5 doesn't break down any, so we're absolutely done with this problem. So the little feature in the calculator or the graphing items, knowing how to type it in can actually save you a whole lot of work.